Ida's law became law on November 1st. In theory, it will enhance the ability to find and hopefully save missing indigenous people. How will it work? To learn more, I recently sat down with two reporters with our content partner, Oklahoma Watch. We're joined by Oklahoma Watch reporters Rebecca Najera and Whitney Bryen. Rebecca, let's begin with the woman this law is named after. Tell me the story of Ida Beard.
Yeah, so Ida Beard is a citizen of the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes. She was a stay-at-home mother, and she also lived with her mother, who was blind, so she was her caretaker. She also regularly attended the El Reno Indian Methodist Church, where she put on activities and volunteered and whatnot. But one night in 2015, she went out with friends and never came back, and just hasn't been seen since then.
Now, Whitney, many times crimes against Native Americans go unreported. Was this crime reported, and why is that so many go unreported?
Well, Rich, this crime was reported. Her family reported her missing to El Reno police. But, you know, Ida's law was really inspired by the difficulty they had in getting an investigation open on Ida's missing. So a lot of people don't report missing or crimes against Native American people because of bad relationships and just mistrust between authorities and Native American communities. You know, a lot of folks in the Native community feel like they're not going to be taken seriously, and that's definitely what Ida's family expressed to us when they reported her missing to authorities.
So, Rebecca, Ida's law now in effect. So what changes? How do we improve that situation?
Yeah, so what this law does is it kind of sets up like a one-stop shop for Native families who need to report their loved ones missing. So it creates an office for them to go to. And then that office also is supposed to create a database where those people can be entered in.
Now, listening to that, I would think this is going to require funding, right? More personnel and so forth. Did the legislature take that into effect when they passed this law, Whitney?
Well, kind of. They know it's going to take funding, right? Everything takes more money. But in the case of Ida's law, what they did is rather than actually providing any state funding for this effort, they told the OSBI, the State Bureau of Investigation, to go find federal funding for this. So they haven't procured any of that funding yet. They tell us they're working on it. And actually, they're talking to tribes as well to see if there's some funding there that they could get. But for now, the OSBI is kind of taking the hit on their current budget to make some of this happen.
Rebecca, is Ida's laws unique to Oklahoma in terms of what it tries to do? Are other states with large Native American populations doing the same thing?
Yeah, so Ida's law was actually in the works prior to COVID. So that kind of put things on pause. But other states were watching what we were doing here in Oklahoma, and South Dakota actually adopted a similar law. However, they're also kind of in the same boat that we're in as far as not having any funding.
So, having said all that, Ida's law, of course, there's another law that's taken effect with the Supreme Court ruling of the McGirt decision. How is that, you mentioned COVID, how does the McGirt decision affect Ida's law, if at all, Whitney?
Actually, it's interesting. It's sort of more like Ida's law affects McGirt rather than the other way around. So Ida's law is trying to untangle the complexity of jurisdictions in Oklahoma. When someone like Ida goes missing, the family often doesn't know who to report to. And McGirt is further complicating crimes against Native American people and on tribal land. So Ida's law will hopefully provide this one-stop shop, like Rebecca said, for families like Ida's to go to this one place at the OSBI, report that crime, report that person missing, and not have to worry about McGirt. That's for the authorities, the state, maybe even the federal government to work out, but that's not something that the families need to be worried about, and that's what Ida's law should be taking off of their plate.
As always, I always learn a lot when I talk to you two. Thank you very much, Rebecca and Whitney.
Thank you, Rich.